Hey folks, welcome back. Good to see you again. Tim here, of course, Gamma Vini, back in the garage, working on the GX470. Another new product here. Finally getting close on our dashboard accessory panels for this guy. So first update, and I'm excited about this. Let's jump into it. Like all of these products, your first move is going to be removing the stock cover over that center channel speaker. So take your favorite trim removal tool and stick that under there. And as soon as you can, try to get beyond that outer flange and into more of the meat of that part. I'll show you why. Here's the part, and it's really thin around the perimeter. And if you look really close, you can see I broke this and glued it together once. So, just heads up, if you can get into this where it's a little bit fatter, you can be a little more aggressive with it. You can see I kind of struggled there at the end to get it to finally pop up, but I'm done with this now. So anyway, if you want to be able to put this back in, restore it to stock, you definitely have that option. Of course, this is a no drill install, as people like to see. But there you go, pop that guy out. Your next move then is going to be remove the two screws that hold that speaker in. And if you look at that, that is a T20 Torx. I'll show you that tool right there. So take that Torx driver, get yourself a 1/4 inch deep socket and a little ratchet, and you'll make quick work of that guy. Check it out. Put that in there. So that little screw looks like. So that's your driver setup. It's the best way to get under that window and not frustrate yourself. And now the new part. So I developed this little guy, which fits in there really nice. And it uses those same kind of sheet metal nuts, I guess, if you will, kind of metal nuts for these. And we use some new screws. So I've got some longer screws, and they're gonna go down in there, and they're gonna use those same speaker holes to secure this. That worked, and it works fine. And I had put about 1,500 miles on one of those in Moab recently. But the problem is, I wanna add a charging port. I wanna add at least one RAM mount, and it gets a little busy over there, and it covers up the speaker. So not the best move. So I came up with something a little bit different. I added another plate to it. So check this out. Here's my new one. Looks like that. But that's sandwiched to one of the other plates. So these just bolt together. That first one is going to go into that, recess, just like that guy did. But then I'll have a few little wings to, put some more items on. So you can see how this works here. And there it is installed. I've got my two new kind of speaker screws holding this down, two backing screws holding the two plates together, and this guy's in there. I mean, it doesn't move. The nice thing is that lower plate in that recess will not allow it to twist at all, and it's supported all the way around, so it really can't do much, and it's super clean and low profile, so while driving I can barely see the plate, and that's a good thing. A little more of a bird's eye view of this. So our original speaker intact. This hole is where I'm going to run my wires out of. These screws are of course holding it down, and then hole patterns for other accessories and so forth. So let me show you what I have in mind. So what I'm going to mount to start is I've got a couple of these ARB socket holders, linked to these on the page, of course. I'm going to put one of them there and the other one there, and hopefully be able to get power to both of those. And then I've got a just a really simple, RAM track ball that I'm gonna just use a you know, threaded stud, and I'll probably put it like right there, so I can run one RAM mount and then another one right there, and that'll give me the ability to have phone, tablet, bunch of charging for, you know, headlamps and things while we're out camping and whatnot. So let's jump into that. Now, one thing we got to do with these sockets is I want to use 1/4-20 bolts. I got these fancy little black ones, but these holes are too small for those to go through, so I got to drill these out. Pretty simple. Find a drill bit that's a little bit bigger than a 1/4 inch so it slips through there nice, and you know, just nice and easy. Follow that hole down. Drill out both sides. So now my bolt will fall through that hole, look really nice. And then my other move, of course, is to take my 1/4-20 tap, and I'm going to add threads here and here for my ram ball mounts. And then I'm going to add threads here, 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 and here for my 2 socket holders. So give me just a minute. Okay, that wasn't too bad. Took a couple minutes, but you can see now I have tap threads there, there for my sockets. These outer guys are going to be for my you know, little ram balls. So I'm just kind of fit check this stuff, take a look at it and see what it looks like. So pretty cool, coming together, little product there. One thing you notice probably is that when I tapped these inner holes, that went through both plates, so those bolts are definitely not going anywhere. Yeah, one other thing to notice is kind of the order of operations here. I won't be able to screw this plate down to those speaker holes on the dash with these in place. So, you know, I got them in there now, but they're gonna have to come off. That's okay. They're gonna have to come off anyway because the sockets are still on order. They get here tonight. So, but again, couldn't wait to get this together. So, all that said, I think it's time to do some wiring. Well, one small surprise is I went to set this in there and I had a little bit of an interference issue. So the screws I was using, which were like 1/2 inch long 1/4-20s, they were too long, and they stuck out too far and they're hitting the dash. So I swapped these out. The only ones I had in stock were these stainless ones, but they're only 3/8 length. In the middle on the double plate, I just put them in. On the outer, I actually added a little lock washer just to raise that up a little bit. And so I wanted that to sit nice and flat, and I didn't want anything to kind of poke into the dash. So she's looking okay now. I'll give you another look. Yeah, that's what we look like, kind of rough fit check. Looking cool. And if you look underneath, not a whole lot of room. You can see that one screw head for my ram mount, but underneath this is almost touching the dash. So just be careful with whatever fasteners you use and that you don't poke into anything that you don't want to poke into. So how are we gonna do this wiring? Well, pulled the speaker out, and you know, there is some room down there. Get my hand down there a little bit. I'm hoping that I can pop this panel off, which if you've done that before, you know you just have to take this trim panel off and maybe even this trim panel off before you can pull this guy off. And hopefully that gives us enough room to fish something. And ordinarily we'd be coming right from the second battery back here through the firewall and up and around. You've seen that in all the Land Cruiser videos, specifically the 200 Land Cruiser, not the LX ones. But in this case, I've got a fuse block here that's already run from my second battery. So I'm gonna run another wire from there, kind of follow that hunk there, and then I'm gonna go down along the kick panel. So it's gonna give me a minute to pull all this off so I can run those wires under there and then hopefully get behind the dash and up through the hole. Let's see what happens. Okay, so about there, the wiring, and not that bad. I'll show you what I took off. Of course, the floor mat. This thing, you know, has the couple computers on it. That's underneath the glove compartment. I did have to take off that one center console piece, and the piece above it. A couple of those door thresholds, that kick panel, that panel, and that's it. Wiring then, I'm the bottom on the right now on that fuse block, and that's just kind of following the rest of my stuff here. Going underneath this footwell cover, running up the threshold. If you don't put the ends on the wire, you don't have to take off this B-pillar plastic. You can just kind of sneak it in there and it'll go. Then on the other side, we've got this wire. You know, I'm using a 16 gauge wire, which I think is perfect for this. Snuck it behind that big scary box, and then it's gonna go right up there. And here, I'm using the irrigation flag trick. Let me show you what that looks like. I know you've seen this before if you've watched the other videos, because I use these a lot to get through that grommet. But in this case, I just found a line of sight, stuck it down in there, taped my wire to it. Now I can gently feed my wire up. And there you go, buddy. Okay, so now I'm to here, and then it'll be really easy because I can almost get my hand in here to go from here to there. Yeah, so once I got it to here, I was able to really easily get it up to there. You can just see how it's a quick short run. So I just reached up and pulled it through. So now I just have to work my slack back and button all this up. Again, I didn't have to take anything off here except for this one piece, really just to get this piece off. This is the key so that I can kind of reach in and grab. Just be mindful that you don't block your, your ventilation here. You want to get your wire kind of next to it or behind it or somehow. And here's the wire for, I don't know, whatever that thing is. So there you go, wiring done. Just about there. So I've got all my interior put back together, got my wire harness ready. So I had a couple quick disconnects on the main feed going in, and then just basically a Y, so I can run positive and negative off of those to both of what will be my charging ports. So my next move then, pull these off. For now, I'm just gonna add some little voltmeters because it's all I have. I'm waiting for my chargers, but that'll go in there and at least look fun for a little while. Finish this out and put a fuse in the fuse block, and boy, we should be good to go. So yeah, get this thing bolted up. One more shot of the dashboard panel. You can see the outline of those two switch pods or whatever we call those. But there you go, my wire's coming up. I could have made this one a little bit longer. It's going to give me a little extra challenge, but it's going to work just fine. My next move then is going to be hook up those terminals to those wires and bolt that thing back on. And again, these wires are going to get buried under there, and those also are going to bury the two screws holding it down. So that's why we had to do it in this order. And there we go. Here's the finished product. Well, almost finished. Again, these voltmeters are going away and they're going to be replaced by USB chargers, but I think you get the idea. A little tight getting in here with the Allen wrench underneath the windshield, but you can do it. You only have to do it once. Well, in my case, twice. But yeah, that's what we are looking like, all set up and ready to go. And then a quick mock-up of a potential setup. Garmin inReach on one side, phone on the other. Of course, these will be plugged into their respective USB ports, so no wires running around here, which I love. And I might swap that out for a tablet. Most of the time, though, it's going to be pretty clean. I'm not going to have anything, but when I do the trip, it's great to have all of these available charging ports as well as the RAM balls for whatever accessory I feel like adding. And with that, we could probably start to wrap this up. So, a nice testament to doing the auxiliary fuse panel when you do your second battery, or even if you don't, but just having that available, it really accelerated the wiring of this, 30, maybe 45 minutes by the time I got everything crimped. I've taken a lot longer on those kinds of projects in the past when I didn't have the panel. So if you want to see a deeper dive on that, I did a nice video on the Tundra setup where I walk you through both batteries and the panel and the solar charging and everything there. It's all the same. Things are in slightly different places here in the GX, but fundamentally it's all the same stuff. So look that one over. Let me know your questions. I've said it before, don't drive distracted. Don't make dumb choices. Be smart about this. It's nice to have your phone in front of your face so you're not looking down, for directions and things. So I think that there's a safety upgrade, but there's certainly a potential. This isn't about watching movies on the iPad as you drive down the road. So make good choices there. I think you're going to like this one, though. A lot of options you have, a lot of opportunity to really customize your rig how you like to do it. And when you take the time to run the power, you can just clean up all of that stuff so you don't have this big old, 3-port kind of thing underneath the ashtray, because the GX really didn't come with all that many charging ports to begin with. So anyway, first product really of its kind, this dashboard accessory panel. This is now number 7 on the list, with 4 different 200 series products. Of course, the Tundra and the GX460. And this is the very first one of its kind for the GX470. So I'm excited about it. I hope you liked it. Thank you for staying with me on this one. A little bit long one. It took me most of the afternoon. So budget your time. Take your time. Do it. A nice job. It's a little frustrating getting in there, but you'll get it. And in the end, you're going to be stoked. So thank you again. Tell me what else you want to see on these videos as well as products. Let me know your questions, this one or anything. And of course, as always, see you on the next one.